Hi and welcome back. It's time for the fourth vlog in this series where I try to read all of the books from the library that I have at home before I go away for a while. I'm just gonna take a vacation. I'm gonna flee the apartment because there's gonna be some renovations done. So I think I have like 4 books that are due at the same time, and I will have to probably extend the loan on some of them. But before I go into my next read, this is where we're at. These are the number of books I have left, the number of days I have left, and the number of pages. So that's where we're at. And I think I'm gonna go with this one, which means that this vlog might take longer to conclude, like more days, which is fine because I'm behind on uploading the other ones. I just today uploaded the second vlog and I have the third one to do as well, so if I wait a while with that, then you know the gaps, there won't be that big of a gap between the last one and this one, I think. So let's see what this is about then. It's been so long since I put this on my want to read list, and as you probably know, I have the second one at home as well, because they were both available at the library and that kind of never happens. So I borrowed both, and hopefully I like this one, so I want to read the other one. You'll see. You'll see. And yeah, I don't know how I will feel if I do enjoy this. I don't know if I'm gonna want to go right into the next one because it's a prequel, I think, or if I'm gonna want something in between. So if this isn't the only book in this vlog and it's not the other one after this one, that doesn't have to mean anything, just saying. So let's see if it says something here. The world divided. A queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. The house of Berethnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran, I think, the 9th must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are creeping closer to her door. Ead, I think, Durian, is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ead keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tane, there's like an apostrophe at the end, has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So, the Priory of the Orange Tree, I think I forgot to mention that in the beginning, by Samantha, Shannon. Yeah, so as I said, it's been I think it's been maybe 2 years, 1.5. You know, I started following BookTube in the spring / like April, May in 2024, so it's been somewhere since then, but I don't know where along the way this one popped up. And the other one, so this came out 2019 and the other one came out 2023 here in Sweden at least. So yeah, we'll see. I'm anticipating dragons, and politics and strong women, maybe, hopefully. So yeah, I will see you when I've got maybe not 100 pages in. It's 800 pages long, so maybe 100 pages is like too little, but when I feel like I've gotten into the story, that's when I'm gonna get back to you. And in the meantime, if there are some B-roll of my everyday life, enjoy. Okay, so the trips are back. I don't know if that is the word for this bug in English, but in Swedish the name is trips, and I can maybe look up the Latin name for it and put it here. So they are back. We had like an infestation of some of our indoor plants in February of this year. Now it's July/August. It's the 2nd of August, and the one plant of the infested, yeah, that made it last time, that I actually managed to save, has been infected. I don't think I wanted to see it, you know. I didn't want it to be happening. So when I finally was like, whoa, I could see the bugs moving, I was like, no, I want to give my plant another chance because it's my last of that kind. And actually it was like 3 in one pot. She had babies. It's my aloe vera mama vera plant. So I spent my late afternoon trying to get rid of those. It's been hell. But yeah, now instead of all of the plants in one pot, I have also replanted them in 3 different, and then they had some smaller babies that I put in smaller pots, and I had to do some reorganizing, so I'm still not finished with that because I need to move my books. So I had books on like a small shelf underneath another shelf, my library books. So where my library books were and my Clan of the Cave Bear series, I had to move those, and they are currently on the floor because I needed to move my plants away from the window. I have a theory of how these bugs keeps coming, or how they came to us in the first place, because none of the normal ways of getting them applies to us. So I have a theory. But anyway, I needed to move them from that spot because there can be like bugs left on the windowsill. So that is the only place I could think of, because I didn't want them with my other plants that haven't been infested. So it's been such a weird afternoon. And before that we had laundry. Me and my partner did laundry together for 4 hours in like a laundry room that is connected to our apartment, or it's in our apartment building. We can book it, so I have booked. So I haven't been able to read like anything today yet. I am going to go inside and finish my reorganizing, and then I will hopefully have some brain power left to read a little before bed. It's not that late. It feels like it's like 8 p.m. but it's not. I think by now maybe it's 6:30. No, I think it's maybe 7 p.m. But I remember looking at the clock when I was in the bathroom doing all of this stuff, and it was only 20 minutes past 6 p.m. and I was like, feels like 8. Now it feels like 9. I'm so tired. So I'm gonna go inside, finish up, and hopefully get some reading in. I'm a bit stressed about this thick book. Yeah, I think that kind of hinders my my reading as well. Like the thought of having to manage all of that entire 800-page book is kind of, I don't know. I'm just hoping to get into the book more, and it's really fun, so that I flow through it, or fly through it, so that I don't have this feeling of I have to read it, because I haven't gotten into it yet, and right now I feel like I have to, and that makes me stressed out about it. Anyway, so this is the temporary solution for the plants. And this is the temporary solution for my library books. It's 8:15 p.m. and I'm gonna make a stew for lunch boxes, and then probably, hopefully, read a little bit before bed. Still haven't read anything today. Maybe 5 pages I think I managed this morning. This day. Good morning. So first of all, this morning I woke up from loud noises outside of our door, and yeah, they have started renovating further away in our apartment building, but they are preparing our building, like our part of the complex. So this morning I woke up from sounds of that, and they were so loud. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to put my alarm earlier. And also there's no sound of the renovations themselves, I think, that you know, reaches where we are. But they are tearing things down. So in this part of the project over there, they are tearing out the bathroom, tearing out kitchens, and that sort of thing. There's no sound from that. I'm very grateful so far. It's only Tuesday with the first week, so you know. But anyway, but I know that they are tearing things down because these big metal boxes, I don't know if they're called containers in English or not, are situated right outside of our window. Like, we are on the 5th floor, but you know, on the ground level, and I have a window open, so every time they throw away something, it's like this big crash. And I'm happy I'm awake for that, because that's probably worse than the preparations they're making here. So oh my, I was right to think that there's gonna be disturbances and hard for me to work from home these weeks, and it's gonna get worse, I think. So I'm just gonna have to find every small moment to do the things I need to do within quiet time. And then, yeah, I don't know, I'll make it work, you know. Books. Where am I? Well, I have decided to put a pause, or put the Priory of the Orange Tree on pause, because it stresses me out to have to get into this whole new world building. That's the main problem. It is really an intricate world building, and I with lots of names, like every chapter. I think I've met 3 POVs so far, and I've only read how much? Not even 40 pages, or maybe just about that. So I'm like, I can't get into it, and it stresses me out, because the times I have right now to read, also because of these renovations, and you know, I have to take the time to really dig into work when there's loud noises, and then I can read when they're, or the opposite. See, my mind doesn't work. So anyway, I have like chunks of time, or small chunks of time, to do different things, and I can't plan like I normally do. And the small chunks of time that I have to read during the entire day, from I wake up to I go to bed, are not enough to get into the story. This is a book that I really need to sit with and have at least a couple of hours of downtime and a cup of tea and maybe a notebook or notepad so that I can write down things that confuses me and look things up. It's gonna take time. The first 100 or 150 pages are gonna take time. I would love to start it on like a weekend where I have nothing else to do, which is not gonna happen for like August and until I go away, because the weekends are gonna be the time when everything's mostly quiet and I'm gonna have to do some work on the weekends. So the time I have to read are these smaller chunks of time during the weekdays, and that doesn't really work right now. I picked another book yesterday that I started to read before bed, a simpler book. I did think it was a standalone, and it's not a standalone apparently, so anyway, I didn't really want to start new series if I couldn't finish them before going away, but I'm gonna make an exception because I really want to read this one. So I started reading A Study in Drowning, and it's only 380 pages or something, and it's as I said, it's not a standalone, but it's a dark academia, so the world building is not as intricate as in the Priory of the Orange Tree. Effie Sayre has always believed in fairy tales. She's had no choice. Since childhood, she's been haunted by visions of the Fairy King. She's found solace only in the pages of Angarad, Emery Murden's beloved epic about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King and then destroys him. Effie's tattered copy is all that's keeping her afloat through her first term at the prestigious Lyrian Architecture College. So when Murden's family announces a contest to redesign the late author's estate, Effie feels certain this is her destiny. But Hereth Manor is an impossible task, a musty, decrepit house on the brink of crumbling into a hungry sea, and when Effie arrives, someone else has already made a temporary home there. Preston Hellery, a stodgy, that's a new word for me, young literature scholar, is determined to prove Effie's favorite author is a fraud. As the two rival students investigate the reclusive author's legacy, piecing together clues through his letters, books, and diaries, they discover that the house's foundation isn't the only thing that can't be trusted. There are dark forces, both mortal and magical, conspiring against them, and the truth may bring them both to ruin. So I have only read 23 pages. So I haven't read that far, but I know that Effie wanted to be a literature student, but she did get the grades for it, but they don't accept women, so she chose the next best thing, which was architecture. She's not enjoying it, but it is what it is. And I also have learned some things about the world building in this. There are some magic in this story, some myths that they live by, etc. So I am intrigued by this story, and it's going to be so much easier to read, and I feel a bit more not stressed anymore. I feel a bit better about that. So I'm gonna save Priory of the Orange Tree and the other book by the same author until last, probably until last, before I go away, and see if I have time to focus on them, because as long as I have books to read after, I'm gonna feel stressed. I don't want that. Welcome back, or welcome back to me, I don't know. So I have finally gotten 100 pages into this book, 105 pages, and I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I'm still thinking that I'm stressed, but I have figured out that all the noise or the vibrations of the building from the renovations in the other end of the building is really like pressing on my nerves. So I'm like in constant hyper-vigilant mode, but it's like my mind knows there's no danger. My mind understands what's going on, but my nervous system is like every time something happens, and that puts like an underlying stress factor. That means that everything on top of that is extra. So having this challenge is an extra thing, and everything I have to do is like an extra thing. I'm trying to be mindful of that when I'm figuring out what I think about this book, because it's easy for me to find faults and want to DNF anything right now. I think I'm not really in a reading slump. I just think that I'm just stressed about having to read. But anyway, so what do I think about this book? So far, I'm very, very, very annoyed with the female main character. I don't know if we are supposed to be annoyed with her, or if we are supposed to feel sorry for her, or if we are supposed to feel for her and with her and relate to her, because she's kinda like me. She kinda has her nerves on the outside of her body. I don't usually, but I do right now. So, but for another reason. Like, she was told all her life growing up that... So her name is Effie. And she was told all her childhood that she was saying things, that everything was kind of in her mind, and she got these pills to suppress that. At the same time, she's living in a world where fairy tales might be true, so she's struggling with that, and she's like, her mind goes always to I'm the problem, but also every situation is dangerous, like every person she meets might do her harm. And that's kind of how I felt when I had first gotten diagnosed with PTSD, and I had so many irrational thoughts and irrational fears that I couldn't even leave my apartment. And that was between the time I got my diagnosis and when I got help with it, so before I went to therapy. And I remember that period of time, and it's like I don't want to go back, and it feels like maybe I would have enjoyed this book more if I didn't read it now. You know what I mean? Like when I am on edge. Or is it good that I'm on edge as well? But I'm not, it's not making me relate to her. It's making me wanna push her away. Like, it's making her, it's like I'm in my head right now. I don't need to be in her head. So I think she's too much for me. And I'm trying to think, like, what are the reasons to keep reading the book? Is there anything that I enjoy? Because I'm not into what I suppose is going to be the romance. I'm not into that. It's kind of enemies to lovers, if there is a romance, because I don't know where their relationship is going to end up. But if it is, it's going to be like that kind of relationship. And that's not really... that's not what I seek out. If it happens in books, sometimes if it's written well, if it's believable, then I can go with it, But it's not something that I seek out, and it's not something that I'm like, ooh, So the story is that she is this architecture student. She has gotten a chance to redesign her favorite author's, rest him in peace, her favorite author's home in this author's son has he put out a competition and she won the competition and she get this opportunity, right? But she's not really into architecture. She's struggling with that. She's into literature, and then when she gets to this manor, or whatever you want to call it, she finds out that there is a literature student there digging around all of these authors' old papers and gathering them up, and the relationship between them is getting kind of weird because she's weird. She has one bad experience that I really feel for her because of, with a teacher that kind of took advantage of her. It's not something that happens in the book. It happens pre, and we follow her trying to process that, and that experience makes her kind of unable to really gauge what other people want, or especially men, what they really want when they, you know, are they laying a hand on her shoulder to comfort her, or do they want anything more? Do they, you know, meet her eyes because they want to reassure her, or do they want something more? So it's always that extra layer, and I'm just not here for it right now. I think it's well written so far. I just don't know if it's what I want to read right now. So am I really gonna pause? Because I don't want to DNF forever, but I think I want to pause this book as well. And maybe just ask myself, what do I want to read right now? Is there any of these books that I have at home that I want to read right now? Because this is the first time I say these words out loud. Do I want to DNF it for sure? It took me 3 days to get here, and it usually doesn't. I don't know if I dislike her enough to DNF it, or if I for now just want to put it aside, pause it, and come back to it, and maybe hopefully like her in the future when I'm not in this stressed out environment, you know. So I'm gonna just put it down for now. I'm gonna have some lunch, and I'm gonna get back to you with whatever I decide. I'm back, but it's the next day. You saw some footage from me picking berries with a friend yesterday. So she was out for lingonberries and I was out for blueberries. So we went out and picked some blueberries. We didn't see any animals. If you're wondering, like, is there wild animals roaming around? Well, there are, but the only one we encountered was that we heard some foxes like bark and howl. And I feel like being out in nature yesterday with a friend really screwed my head on right. Finally. And yeah, we also chatted when we picked berries. It's a good way to keep animals away. So yeah, and then when I came home I can still hear her voice in my head chatting away. So I needed to break that thought pattern. And I was like, I need to read something, but what do I want to read? So I decided to just forgo any order in which I need to read those library books that I have. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna pick an author that I've read before, that I know I will probably enjoy, or at least it will be an easy read. Yeah, so I picked One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So I've read a few books from this author before, and when I went to bed I actually thought I might be able to read a bit more in A Study in Drowning, now that I feel a bit more grounded. So maybe I will switch between those two, but I think I'm gonna end this vlog when I finish this one, unless I finish them both around the same time. So, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So I read, how much did I read last night? 40 pages. So this is a high school story. So we have Bronwyn, Cooper, Nate, Addie and Simon. Those 5 characters are the main characters. And Simon, it even says so on the back, so it's no spoiler really, that Simon ends up dead quite soon. So they all have detention. In like the first chapter, they're all gathering for detention, and they find out that all of them seem to have been lured into detention by someone planting cell phones in their backpacks or like on their persons that they are not allowed to have in class. So when the teachers find them, then because they're supposed to leave them in their lockers, I guess, and they have left their real phones in the lockers, but they are all, you know, have these planted cell phones on them, and the teacher finds them and they get detention. So I guess this happens during different stages of the day, because they seem surprised to see each other at detention. Like everyone's like, well, you shouldn't be in detention or something like that, except for one person, Nate, that is this bad boy character. So Simon has just died in detention. I'm not gonna say from what. So he died in detention, and he has this app and website, I think, that he has this gossip about people in the school on. He's not very popular because of it, but he always keep the news to only truths, and only like just 2 letters for every person, so you can kind of know who it is, but it doesn't spell it out right, so the school can't do anything. So he ends up dying in detention, and where I've gotten in the story is that it's the day after or the days after, and we're following all of these other 4 POVs and how they handle this afterwards and what they're thinking. And they're supposed to have secrets that they are happy that Simon didn't share on his platform or something like that. And the police investigation into his death has just begun. So that's where I'm at. So we'll see where this story takes us. But we'll see what I think about this, first of all. I do like the sprayed edges. I'm not usually fond of them, but this color is kinda easy on the eyes when I'm reading, especially in the dim light in my bedroom. So yeah, I think I'm gonna read this at night, and then the other one maybe during the day if I have time, because I know that the anxiety in studying drowning is not good for my sleep right now. So, but this doesn't give me anxiety. Anyway, I will see you soon, and now I'm gonna do some work because it's morning, it's Friday, I have a cup of tea, I have things set up to start my day. And I'm hoping to go out and pick some more blueberries today, but in my own spot that I have found. And yeah, that's what my day looks like. See you when I see you. So, not the greatest idea to go blueberry picking with a white shirt. I'm doing my best not to get any on it, but I think I'm gonna fade. But yeah, just sitting here in the moss is grounding and amazing. Yeah, so here are the blueberries. I have picked this part though, but let me see if I can get some in picture there. Then maybe you can see that there are some blue spots in the green. But I think the season isn't supposed to come to an end just yet, but it's been so dry in the last week, and you know, we had a couple of days of heavy rain with the burn, or like the fire, right after that, but then we haven't had any in like almost a couple of weeks now. Yeah, so it's so dry, and that makes all of the berries look like this is like the leaves, and then some of the berries are like, I don't know if you can see that they are, well, this is a kind of a good one, but they are kind of small and then also kind of dried up almost. I'm leaving a lot of it, but of course, but yeah, I'm gonna pick a little bit. There are some there, and then I'm gonna head home, I think. There's not much in my little I don't know what you call that. Okay, so it's bedtime, and before I go to bed, I'm gonna talk about this book because I finished it. So this was exactly what I needed right now, something fast-paced, something thriller-esque. So this reminds me a lot of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but in this story there are several like amateur detectives, because everyone accused of the crime that I talked about when I first talked about this book. So everyone involved start doing their investigation. But Bronwyn is doing the most of it, I think, but Abby's also doing a lot of it. And then the boys, Cooper and Nate, are not as much, but they do work together to figure out what happened. And I also think that this book had a little bit more, or maybe better, representation. She uses the names, like the last names of the individuals, to tell us what nationality they are, and then also throws in pieces of that, so there are like minority representation. No disability. You know, for disability I would have maybe wanted one of the kids. Well, there is one kid that used to have leukemia, one of the siblings, so that's in there, but I don't know, maybe something lacking there. But overall I think it's good representation of a bit more representation of LGBTQ plus and that sort of thing. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil it, because the reveal around that is a part of the story, so an important part of the story, and that person struggles. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I did enjoy it. So as I think I said when I talked about it the first time, we follow 4 kids. I think they're 17 years old. We follow Bronwyn, Cooper, Nate and Addie, and then Simon that dies during detention, and then everything that unravels after that. And they try to work together to find out what happened, even though their lawyers of course don't want them to. So that's kind of the basic premise of this book, and it is a thriller-esque book, so I don't want to talk too much about it because yeah, I think you should read it if you enjoy books like Two Can Keep a Secret, that is also by this author, or A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. You probably will like this one. I look forward to reading the next one, but I think the wrap-up in this book was so good that I don't really understand what will happen next. So I don't know. But I am considering returning another book that I'm not in the mood to read, and then borrowing the next book in this series on Monday. But maybe that would be cheating in this challenge. I don't know. But this vlog will be wrapped up with this book. So I gave it 4 stars. There were, you know, a few things lacking here and there, but overall a good read. But it wasn't a solid 5-star, I think. So yeah, it wasn't a solid 5-star for me. But 4 stars definitely. So yeah, and it was, as I said, what I needed right now. I'm not in a reading slump. I just didn't want to read something very intricate, and yeah, as I have stated so many times before in this vlog now, I think. So with that, I hope that you are having a good time reading, and I hope that you are well, and I will see you in the next one. These are the number of the number of days, books and pages that I have left now with where I'm standing right now. So I have still paused the other books that I've talked about in this vlog. So I will let you know in the next one maybe, or you know, if I decide something else. If I pick them up again, I will tell you. If I decide to return them and remove them from the challenge, then I will tell you. So, tjingeling.